Hi friends, welcome to, well, not really the Treehouse. Do you notice that I might be somewhere a little different today? Maybe you can see the big bright lights behind me on a fire truck. That's right, I'm at a fire station. That's so cool. Well, why am I at a fire station? Because we're gonna be learning about fire safety and fire prevention. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Are you ready? Me too. Let's go check it out. Do you have any idea of what you think like a firefighter does for their job?
I mean, it's in the name, firefighters. They put out fires. They fight the fire, and like they sometimes even solve crimes. Not like police do, but they sometimes solve crimes. They like if someone's like drowning in the water, like they can just like go and rescue them. It's kind of like a rescue service.
What do you think a firefighter does each day? Like, what do they do for their job?
Get the fire out.
You think you could do that?
Yeah.
I think you could do that too. Do you ever want to be a firefighter when you grow up?
Of course I would. Yeah, I would.
Why do you think you would make a good firefighter?
Because I think it would be fun using giant hoses and looking at spraying water and getting rid of fires.
Hi everyone, I'm Firefighter Chris, and I work here at the Shelby Township Fire Department. I have been working here for 10 whole years. Some of you probably aren't even 10 years old yet. Today, we're gonna talk about some fire safety things. Some things that we want you to be careful of when you're in your house, and some things that we wanna see you do if there ever is a fire inside your house, because it can be a little scary. One of the things we want you to do is if mommy or daddy are cooking and they're on a stove, it could be really, really hot. So we don't want you to touch the stove top. We want you to stay away from those things because it can burn you. You can get bad burn on your hand. So we don't want you to do that. So we want you to stay away if mommy or daddy are cooking. If you do ever see mommy or daddy leaving maybe some papers or some plastic things on top of the stove top, you can tell mommy and daddy, Firefighter Chris told me that you're not supposed to have those things there and you should get rid of them and not have them close to the stove because they could catch on fire. One of the things mommy or daddy might do inside the house is have a candle lit. So there's two things I want you to remember about the candles. If they're lit, you need to not touch them. You need to stay away from them because candles can cause fires. Although they might smell nice, you need to stay away from them. The other thing is we need to make sure that we blow those candles out when we're done with them. Just like when we have a birthday and we have a birthday cake, when we're done with those candles and we want to eat that cake, we blow those candles out. And we need to remind mommy and daddy to blow those candles out when they're done with them because we don't want them to start a fire. Another thing, mommy or daddy might use a lighter or a match to light a candle. We don't touch matches and we don't touch lighters. And if we see them laying out, we need to tell mommy or daddy that they need to put those away because we don't want to be playing with those because they could cause a fire. When you're sleeping at nighttime, we want you to have your doors closed because when your door is closed, if you have a house and it catches on fire, that smoke can't get past those doors and that fire doesn't get past the door. So if your door is closed, it gives you more time to get out of your house. When you do get out of your house and your house is on fire, stay out. We don't want you to go back in your house. If mommy or daddy or a brother or a sister are still in the house, still stay out, especially if you have pets. We all want to go back in and get our pets, whether it be a cat or a dog, a fish, maybe a gerbil. Some people might have snakes. I make a promise to you right now. I will go in and I will get your pets out. I will get any family members out that might be there, okay? So if you get out of the house, stay out of the house. And everyone should have a meeting place somewhere in front of their house. Because when we show up with the big trucks and the big flashing lights, and we see you there, our first question is gonna be, is anybody in there? And if you're standing there and you, nope, I'm right here, then we don't have to worry about you inside of the house. So make sure you talk to your parents about having a meeting place somewhere inside the house. Something else that you should talk to your parents about is smoke detectors. Do you have smoke detectors inside your house? Most of us do, but we need to make sure that they're also working. If there is a fire in your house, those smoke detectors will sound, and they are very, very loud. They can even be a little bit scary, but they're there to let you know that there's a fire. And if they do go off, we want you to get out of the house as fast as possible and go to that meeting place where your parents will find you. We'll be able to know when we get there that you're out of the house safely. And then we'll go in and we'll put those fires out for you. Another thing, when we show up, we might look scary because we're gonna have all of our gear on. You can see me here. This is what our firefighters wear every day that we're at work. But if a fire comes in, we're gonna put on our gear that protects us from the smoke and the heat of the fire. And when we put that gear on, we might look a little scary to you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what I look like when I put all that gear on. And I'm gonna put my pants, my coat on, and I'm even gonna put a mask on. When I put that mask on, it kind of covers my whole face. We're gonna be covered from head to toe so that we're protected from anything that might be inside that house if it's on fire. So now I'm gonna show that to you, okay? When we get dressed at the fire station, before we get on our trucks, what we do is we take our boots, and we have special boots that come off real quick. So we'll kick those off and we'll put our pants on in our fire boots. So we pull those up. We put our shoulder straps on to help keep our pants up. And now my legs and my feet will be protected. So now I'm gonna put my hood on because we like to make sure that our head and our neck are protected too. After that, we're gonna put our coat on. So we put our coat on here and we zip it up. And now my arms and my chest are all gonna be protected when I go into a fire. So what we have inside of all of our fire trucks here at Shelby Township are our air packs. So these right here, this big bottle, this holds air in it so that we can breathe inside of a fire. So we put on our air pack. And we put all our straps on. And then when we show up on a fire, this is what we're gonna look like. And before we go into a fire, we're gonna put on 3 more things: our mask, our helmet, and our gloves. So before we go in to fight a fire, we're gonna put our mask on. Then we're gonna take our hood, which we already put on, and we're gonna cover ourselves up. So we're completely covered up. Then we're gonna take our helmet and we're gonna put our helmet on because we don't want anything to bop us in the head when we're inside of a fire. And we put our chin strap on so it's nice and secure. We turn our air packs on, just like that. We put our gloves on. And then the last thing we do before we go in is we put our air hose into our mask so that we can breathe fresh air. So this is what we're gonna look like when we go into a house fire.
Again, I'm the same person that I was, I just have all this stuff on. Some of you might like Star Wars, and I might sound a little bit like Darth Vader when I'm breathing with my But that's how we get our fresh air from our bottle back here. It goes from the bottle through here, and this is how we breathe. So if I come into your house and I'm yelling, "Fire department, anybody in here?" I want you to yell back, "I'm over here." And even though I might look like this and I might look a little bit scary, I'm not. I'm still the same person that you just saw. I just have all my gear on to help protect me so that I can come in and protect you.
Hi there, friends. Naturalist KR here with my friend Spot. Spot is a blue spotted salamander, and we can find salamanders like him of his species all throughout the state of Michigan and within the Great Lakes region. Now, I bet you've noticed by now that I'm wearing gloves to hold Mr. Spot. Can you think of why that might be? Well, what if I told you it has something to do with how he breathes? Now, wait a second. How do we even breathe? As people, we have a set of lungs in our chest that we use to breathe in oxygen from the air and breathe out carbon dioxide from our bodies. But Mr. Spot doesn't breathe that way. He does have a set of lungs, but he doesn't really use them that often. Instead, he breathes through his skin. So the oxygen in the surrounding air absorbs directly through his skin and into his body, into his bloodstream. And then his bloodstream releases carbon dioxide out back through his skin and into the surrounding air. So if I had anything on my hands like lotion or bug spray, or even if I washed my hands really well, but I didn't wash all the soap off, Mr. Spot could touch that and he might get hurt. So that's why I'm wearing gloves to hold him, to keep him happy and healthy and safe. It's also the reason why if I found a salamander in the wild, I would just respect its space and leave it be. I wouldn't touch him, to keep them happy and healthy and safe too. Now, to be able to breathe through their skin has to be wet and damp with the water that's in the surrounding environment, in their habitat. Now, I wonder if you can think of any kinds of habitats where we might find salamanders. Can you think of any? Well, it turns out we find salamanders near lakes and streams and in the woods and even in our own backyards. We find them under logs and branches and rocks where the soil is nice and damp and wet. But there's one other really important piece of their habitat called leaf litter. And so in the fall time, what happens is as the trees are getting ready for winter, all their leaves will fall from the branches down through the sky and onto the ground. And all those leaves, as they fall to the ground, form a thick layer called leaf litter. And leaf litter is really important for salamanders like Mr. Spot for 3 reasons. 1, it holds a lot of water, which we know that salamanders like because it keeps their skin hydrated and able to breathe. 2, it actually acts like a really cozy blanket and keeps salamanders safe and hidden from predators who might want to eat them, like red-tailed hawks or owls or even raccoons or possums. And the 3rd reason why leaf litter is so important is that it provides good habitat for the kinds of things that salamanders like to eat. Now, can you think of anything that salamanders might like to eat? Well, what if I told you that salamanders like to eat bugs? They like to eat insects like crickets. They like to eat worms. They even eat slugs and snails and even flies. And those all can be found in the leaf litter. And so one really cool thing that we can all do at home is leave the leaves. So in the fall time, as the trees start to lose all their leaves and they fall down to the ground, we might have to rake a bunch of those up. And you know what? Go ahead and have fun with it. Make a leaf pile, play around, have a good time. But if we can leave even a little bit of those leaves in our yard throughout the winter, a little bit of leaf litter goes a long way to help make a happy home for our salamander friends and all the food that they eat. If you'd like to see Spot and even more of our animal ambassador friends, come visit us down at the Burgess Shadbush Nature Center. We hope to see you soon.
Hi friends, today Artemis will be teaching us Oh no! It looks like there's a fire! And it's starting to spread onto Lily's scarf! Lily is using the stop, drop, and roll method to put out the fire on her and safely get out of the room immediately. Remember to practice fire safety often so you know what to do in case of an emergency.
Three, two, one. Sign of the day.
Hi friends, are you ready to do some signing with me today? You are? Perfect, because we have 2 signs we're going to be learning. Now, as you remember, we're learning about fire. So we should probably learn the sign for, well, fire. Now, this sign is a really fun one, so get your hands ready and warmed up. Let's shake them out because we need both of them. And what they're going to be do is you see how my fingers are moving? Just like flames, right? Flames or smoke, they kind of move like this. Well, our fingers are gonna be doing some dancing. And fire is super easy. You bring it to your chest and move it up just like the flames. You see that? Now let me see you do it. Can you do it? Really simple and really easy. You're really good at that. You're making a big fire. Now, if we have fire, we probably need somebody to help us with that fire, right? That's when we have a firefighter. But this isn't the sign for firefighter. The sign for firefighter just takes one hand. So use whatever hand you color or write with. So I use my right hand. Now, with this, we need our 4 fingers here to come together. Do you see that? Whoop, together, and this thumb just folds over like this. And we put it up to our head, just like this. Here we have firefighter. And do you hear? They're calling for the firefighters right now. So our firefighters need to go help a fire. All right, until next time, have fun signing. Hi friends, I'm here at Shelby Township's Fire Station number 1, and I'm here with someone pretty special. We have firefighter Steve.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for showing us around, and he's gonna be showing us some pretty cool things, right?
Very cool things. Are you guys ready?
I know I am. So what do we have behind us?
So behind us is truck 1, okay? So you're gonna see that this is one of our longest vehicles that we have at the fire station. The front door obviously is always gonna be the driver door because we have to get to the scene.
Okay.
So as you guys can see, these are massive vehicles. They're huge, they weigh a ton, and this one especially is extremely long. If you come to the back, okay, this is where the guys are gonna get ready.
Oh,
okay?
that's fun. There is a back seat.
There's a back seat, and then in every seat, you guys will see kind of like, it almost looks like a backpack, but it's actually an air tank that we wear so that we can breathe in hot conditions, smoky conditions, stuff like that. So we have the ability to finish getting dressed on the way to the call to kind of speed things up so it doesn't take as long to get ready. The biggest thing that you're gonna notice what is different about this truck compared to a fire engine is going to be this massive ladder that you guys see on top.
Whoa, that's a ladder?
It's a huge ladder. It actually extends.
Whoa, so you don't take it off, it just opens up on the truck?
Yes, this one right here, we call this the turntable. This actually has the ability to spin and turn. So then, this right here, this big cylinder or this big tube has a piston, and what it will do is it'll lift this whole ladder way up in the air. And if you're standing in the bucket all the way, you can be up at 100 feet in the air.
That is really high. Why would you have to be 100 feet in the air? When do you have to be that high?
Some people have an upstairs to their house. Well, some buildings have another upstairs or even another upstairs. So if they are trapped, and let's say they need to get out, but the only way to get out is at their balcony or their window outside. So then we have the ability to use this to actually make it to their window so that they can get down, or we can even send guys up on a roof with this ladder.
Oh, so that makes sense. So if somebody can't come down, you'll go up and get them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that
Yeah.
a lot.
So this gets a little confusing, but this is actually, we call this the pump panel, because every fire truck that has fire hose needs to have water. So this vehicle, because of all the stuff that is on there, doesn't hold as much water as our engines. But where do you think we get our water from? Because we're gonna run out here in a little bit. If we have to fight a fire.
Ooh, I think I know. Maybe a fire hydrant?
Exactly.
Yes.
But the problem is the fire hydrant could be over there, and I need water to here.
How do you get it from there to here?
It's a great question. So on the back of the trucks, we have big hose. This is a hose. This is the hose, yes.
Yeah, that's not like your garden hose we have at home.
No, we need to be able to put a lot of water into the truck because we're gonna be pushing a lot of water out with this truck.
Yes.
So this is, we call this our supply hose. This is 4-inch hose. And then what the guy will do is he will reach in, he'll grab the hose, and he will walk to the hydrant, or he can drop the hose and the truck can pull forward. And basically we use this big hose. I mean, you can just see how big that is.
Yes.
We are sending a lot of water because if you look up at this truck at the buckets, it has 2 massive, we'll just call these big water guns, okay?
Okay.
And this helps us put a lot of water on a fire. This is what we call our K12. Okay, this is gonna look kind of like a silly tool.
Yeah.
But this saw has a special blade on it that allows us to cut through different types of material. And usually when you're gonna see this is if we have to cut through a metal door, like a garage door, or maybe a special roof, a special construction, this is a great tool to use.
Yeah.
The other saw that you're gonna see is kind of your standard saw. You'll see guys who cut, logs and trees down.
Yep.
This is also one of our go-to saws, especially if we have to go up on a roof, mainly a house, because of the construction, and then we can cut a hole in it to help the guys out inside to let out some of the smoke and the heat so it's not as bad of a condition inside the building.
Yeah, so they can see better, they can breathe better.
Sure, it is hot in there, it is hard to see.
Yes.
And by doing that, we can let a lot of the stuff come up because what happens in a house fire, Kelsey? What happens? Where's the heat and the smoke?
Oh, it just stays in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and it rises up?
It rises. So one of the things that we try to practice to families and to kids is that in a house fire, stay low because everything works its way up. And then as it builds and builds, it starts to come down. So the lower you stay to the ground, the easier it is to get out, to breathe, and it's not gonna be as hot than if you were standing up here.
Yes, so I've seen that if there's starting to be a fire and you wanna leave a room, you crawl, right?
Crawl.
You go
Yeah,
as low
stay
as you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is really awesome. I'm
Thank you.
excited to see what else. And we have not just this vehicle, right? We have other ones.
We have a lot of other vehicles. I think the next one we're gonna take you to is the rescue.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
All right, Firefighter Steve, we're at a different truck. And what's special about this truck?
So this truck is very unique. It is very special. We call this our rescue truck, okay? And this one hauls different gear.
Ooh, what will you find?
So this is our water rescue truck, essentially. You guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay,
What's
so
that?
right now that is actually, this station's going out on a run.
Whoa.
So you're gonna hear a bunch of talking, you're gonna hear an address, what the problem is, and then you're gonna hear the trucks pull out.
Oh, that's really
So
cool.
if it gets loud, I apologize.
That's okay, but that's part of being at a fire station, right?
It is.
We get to hear all these things. You are doing your job, and everyone around us is doing their job too.
Oh, actually, it looks like it's gonna
They're
be a fire
using
call,
this
so
one.
if you guys wanna see this pull out, you can.
Yes. Whoa.
Okay.
So he's doing exactly what you said he would do.
Yeah, so if you notice, we try to get most of our gear on before we get into the rig, because then I can get my air pack and all that other stuff on the way.
Yes.
Yep.
So you can wait to do that once you're in and go as quick as possible.
Yes, because one thing you got to remember is because we're driving in a vehicle, we need to be safe. We still need to have our seatbelts on. So we need to have our outer gear on first, so that way I can put on my air pack while I'm still wearing a seatbelt and being safe.
And that's the most important part, is being safe, right? That's why you're going to the fire.
Yes.
We're gonna save people, and we gotta have to be safe on the way. We can't help other people if we're hurt, right?
Exactly. If we don't make it, then who's gonna help them?
Yes. All right, so now that their truck is left, they're on their way.
Yep.
What else do we have in this truck?
So if you'll notice, there's a lot of different gear.
Yeah.
Okay, we have this is kind of what we use to actually get out to a victim or someone who's stranded out on the ice, okay?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good point, because not only do we have to rescue people on the water when it's the water where you can swim in,
Yeah.
boating, kayaking, but I didn't even think about it. Ice freezes.
Exactly.
And then we ice skate, we ice fish.
Right.
We're maybe out on the ice just playing because sliding is fun.
For
but there's a danger that comes along with it.
Well, there can be, because we have different seasons in Michigan. So the ice is at its strongest for a certain point of the winter, and then what happens? As the weather gets warmer, the ice gets thinner. So if you guys come to this compartment here, this tray actually pulls out.
Whoa.
And our-
These are a little spooky, but also really cool.
They are very cool. Some of you guys have probably seen them before, but this is scuba gear.
Oh, scuba gear. What do you do with that?
Well, if you look, this gives us the ability to actually go underwater and breathe underwater
Whoa.
while we're doing a rescue.
And the cool thing is, like, this bottle isn't a water bottle, it's an air bottle. So it's giving us all the air. We can breathe air right now, but once we're underwater, we can't. There's none under. So we have to
Yes.
bring our own.
That is correct. And that is the cool thing about these masks, because they fully cover your face. So you can take as many deep breaths, as long as you have air in your bottle, underwater. You can swim
Yes.
underwater. It's actually really cool if you ever get the opportunity.
You said this is just specific for when we're kind of rescuing in these certain conditions. So this wouldn't come out just for your regular fire. It would only come out when we're doing
Yes.
a rescue.
Yes, anytime there's a water rescue, whether it be on the river, in the lake.
Now, what else do you have to show us?
So the next thing I want to take you is to our tech rescue trailer.
Ooh,
Okay?
I'm excited to
It's
see
gonna be
what's
great.
there. Yes.
Let's head over.
So Firefighter, Steve, this is a little bit of a different vehicle or truck we're standing in front of, right? We're in a trailer? But what kind of trailer?
It's a great question, Kelsey. So this is our technical rescue trailer. Okay, so what that means is it is going to be used for many different types of situations in which a fire engine or an ambulance would not have the appropriate gear.
But it has to be on wheels. It has to come with you, right?
Yeah, this is going to take a lot of firefighters to move all this gear. So this is why this trailer is so important to us, because
Yeah.
we have so many different tools and so many different uses for these tools.
I also have to say, I like how clean it is, because you would have to be able to find everything and get to it really quick. So it's
Exactly.
kind of like our rooms when we need to keep it clean for a reason.
So when mom is telling you to clean your room, do you think maybe she's trying to teach you good habits? So when you get bigger,
Yes.
this is huge.
If you want to be a firefighter, you gotta,
gotta
be a
be-
little clean. You gotta clean your room.
Gotta be a little organized.
Yes, there's a
Yes.
reason why mom's telling you to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Firefighter Steve, for showing us all these really cool vehicles today. I think I learned a lot about being a firefighter and all the things you have to remember and know and do and all the tools you use. It's a lot.
Sure. Well, first off, it was a pleasure. I thank you guys for coming out and joining us. And yes, there's a lot to these fire trucks. There's a lot to these things. So when you see us on the road or you see us on a call, just know that there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And it's a great career. I love what I do. And again, I really thank you for coming out and checking out our equipment.
Yeah. And make sure that, again, when you see Firefighter Steve or any firefighters around, give them a wave, right?
Please do. Yes, we always love it when the kids wave, and we like to give the big air horn back or turn the lights on for you guys. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
you keep doing a little bit of this, right?
Yes.
When we see you and
Yes.
hear the loud honk of the horn.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Firefighter Steve.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Bye.
Appreciate you.
Hi friends, it's Miss Bethany at the library, here with some books to help you learn about fire safety and firefighters and all the tools that they use. You could read this one, A Trip to the Fire Station with Sesame Street. Follow all of your friends like Elmo, Big Bird, and Oscar as they look at all the people, the vehicles, the tools, and the equipment inside the fire station. We also have this true story called Molly by Golly, The Legend of Molly Williams, America's First Female Firefighter, by Diane Ochiltree, and pictures by Kathleen Kemley. And it's the story of Molly, who was a servant who cooked for the volunteer firefighter department a long time ago. But one year, during the middle of a big snowstorm, there was a big fire, and a lot of the firefighters were sick with the flu, so Molly jumped in to help pump the water, and from then on, she helped fight fires with the volunteer firefighters. So she was kind of the first lady to be a firefighter. Maybe sometimes on the news you hear about big wildfires out west and places where it's really hot. We have this story called They Hold the Line, Wildfires, Wildlands, and the Firefighters Who Braved Them by Dan Paley, and pictures by Molly Mendoza. And this story helps you learn all about how firefighters go outside and fight those big giant wildfires. And in this book, The Glorious Forest That Fire Built by Ginny Neal, you can see how after there's been a giant forest fire, over 100 years or so, a forest slowly regrows, and out of the ashes, new plants spring up and animals return, and eventually the forest is all regrown and rejuvenated. So even if there's been a big dangerous wildfire, nature still takes its course and bounces back. And we have a lot of other cool books about fire trucks, firefighters, and staying safe with fires here at the library, so we hope you'll come check some out soon.
All right, friends, unfortunately, we have to go, but we learned so many cool things and got to see so many cool things like this giant fire truck. Until next time, play fair, play safe, and play together. Bye.